The Russian military build-up around Ukraine continues unabated. 6 Russian warships headed to the Black Sea from the Mediterranean Tuesday. Moscow has deployed over 100,000 troops along its border with Ukraine and a further 20,000 in neighbouring Belarus. It is the backdrop for several days of intense diplomacy. French President Emmanuel Macron held talks with his Ukrainian counterpart Volodymyr Zelensky in Kyiv Tuesday, a day after his visit to Moscow. Key to ending the crisis, according to Macron, is the implementation of the Minsk agreements, a roadmap aimed at ending the conflict between Russian-backed rebels and government forces in eastern Ukraine.
The Minsk agreements are also the best protection of the territorial integrity of Ukraine. Based on the commitment of the two sides, Russian and Ukrainian, we now have the possibility of advancing negotiations.
Zelensky agreed there was an opportunity, but said Russian President Vladimir Putin must prove his commitment.
Generally, I don't quite trust words. That's why I think that every politician can show his or her openness by concrete deeds.
The Minsk agreements would see the eastern Donbass region, currently under the control of pro-Russian rebels, reintegrated into Ukraine, but with political autonomy.
Moscow sees Minsk as a way of re-establishing some form of presence within Ukraine for its pro-Russian forces and stopping Ukraine from formal NATO membership. Ukraine, for exactly the same reasons, opposes it.
There are concerns in Ukraine over what President Macron may have offered Russia.
The Ukrainians are very suspicious that behind it all, Russia simply wants to give the separatists in the Donbass a veto over any future constitutional arrangement in Ukraine. So the Ukrainians are suspicious that Macron might try and force them to give that away.
That explains why Ukraine is trying to calm the situation, says Titov.
There is a lot of talk in Kyiv and Ukraine more generally about the whole crisis being kind of exaggerated in order to force Ukraine to actually implement the Minsk agreement as a way of kind of coming down, Putin down.
Despite those suspicions, analysts say Macron has kept diplomatic channels open.
By coming to Moscow and sitting with Putin and giving Putin, if you like, almost the lead in the negotiations, that's exactly what the Russian president really craves for.
Whether that will be enough to avert conflict remains to be seen. European diplomatic efforts continue next week when German Chancellor Olaf Scholz is due to visit Moscow for talks with President Putin. Henry Ridgwell for VOA News, London.